The station floated in silence, orbiting a dying red star. Its vast corridors echoed with footsteps, yet there was an unease that none could explain. The air recycling vents hummed faintly, but behind the sound lurked something darker, something hidden. An alien worker named Tarak walked slowly through the maintenance sector. His claws tapped on the metal floor, but his eyes shifted nervously from shadow to shadow. "Have you heard?" whispered another alien near him. "They say something has been locked away in the lower chambers." Tarak frowned. "Locked away? What is it this time? Weapons? Smugglers?" The other alien shook his head quickly. "Not weapons, not smugglers, something far worse. They say it's children." Tarak stopped, his chest tightening. "Children? Our kind?" The whisper grew even softer. "No, not ours, human children." For a moment, Tarak could not breathe. Humans were feared and respected across the stars. Everyone knew their history, their anger, their unmatched strength. To harm a human adult was dangerous, but to touch their children, it was unthinkable. He glanced around the hallway, noticing more aliens whispering. Their eyes darted toward a sealed gate at the far end. The metal door was old, reinforced, guarded by 2 tall soldiers with heavy blasters. No one dared step closer, but faint sounds carried through the silence. It was not machinery, not alarms. It was the soft, muffled sound of crying. Tarak's scales prickled. That cannot be true. "It cannot be them," he muttered to himself. One guard shouted, "Move along." "No loitering in this sector." His voice cracked slightly, betraying unease. The crowd scattered, but fear lingered. Later that night, Tarak sat in the dim light of his quarters. His thoughts refused to settle. The whisper returned to him again and again. Human children locked up in the dark. He could still hear that faint crying. Echoing in his ears, a sharp knock rattled his door. He opened it to find another alien, a friend named Kirill. Her eyes glowed faintly with worry. "You heard the rumors, didn't you?" she asked. Tarak nodded. "I did, but they cannot be true. Who would dare?" Kirill lowered her voice. "I went near the gate. I heard them with my own ears. They are small voices, frightened. There is no mistake." Tarak's stomach turned. Why would anyone do this? "Do they not understand what will happen if humans find out?" Kirill whispered. "That's why they are hiding it. They think no one will speak, but the silence will not last forever." The station lights flickered briefly, and both of them looked toward the ceiling as if expecting alarms. But nothing came. The silence returned, heavier than before. The next cycle, the rumors grew worse. Workers claimed to have seen food containers marked with strange human letters. Others swore they saw shadows of small figures being moved at night. Still, the leaders of the station remained silent. Their official messages spoke only of security protocols and restricted areas, but the unease grew too large to hide. In the crowded cafeteria, whispers became louder. "Why are they here? Why not send them back?" An alien demanded. "Because they are prisoners," another replied grimly, "and no one dares release them." A younger alien slammed his hand on the table. "Do you fools not see? If this is true, then we are all doomed. Humans do not forgive when it comes to their young." Tarak felt the eyes of many turn toward him. He had once worked in a human trade outpost. He remembered the way humans guarded their families, how even the smallest insult to a child could set their soldiers burning with rage. He stood slowly and said, "If even one word of this rumor is true, then our station is already cursed." That night, unable to sleep, Tarak and Kirill returned quietly to the sealed gate. The guards were still there, shifting uneasily. One of them muttered, "Why do they not keep them quiet?" Their voices carried too far. Kirill's hands trembled. She pressed her ear against the cold metal, and her eyes widened. She pulled back quickly and whispered, "They are there, I heard them again, human children." As if to confirm her words, a faint sob echoed from behind the door, soft but clear. It cut through the silence like a blade. Tarak staggered back, his throat dry. "This is madness. Do they not know what storm will follow?" When guard barked, "Leave now or face punishment," his blaster gleamed under the dim light. But even his voice shook with fear. Kirill whispered to Tarak as they walked away, "We cannot speak of this openly, But we must prepare. Something is coming. The humans will not stay silent forever. Far above the station, the stars burned quietly, unaware of the growing storm. But deep inside every alien heart, a question echoed louder with each passing cycle. Who had dared to lock away human children, and how long until Earth found out? The sealed gate loomed like a shadow over the lower sector. Its thick metal surface seemed to breathe with secrets, and everyone who passed by felt the weight of something wrong. The guards stood stiff, pretending confidence, but their eyes betrayed the truth. They were afraid. Tarek could not focus on his duties anymore. Every sound reminded him of the faint cries he had heard. Every silence felt heavier. He moved through the corridors with his head lowered, but his mind was loud with questions. When he entered the cafeteria, he found Kirill waiting. She leaned close and whispered, "We cannot ignore this any longer. The whispers are spreading, and soon the humans will learn. Do you understand what that means?" Tarek nodded slowly. "Yes, I know. If the humans discover children here, this station will not survive." At the next table, two workers argued in hushed tones. "It is not our fault," one said sharply. "We did not take them. It is the commanders who hide them. But silence makes us guilty too," the other replied. "Do you want to be here when humans come looking?" "They will not ask who is innocent. They will see only enemies," the voices carried. And the room fell into uneasy quiet. No one wanted to speak further. They all knew the truth, but feared it more than lies. Later, as the cycle lights dimmed, Kirill dragged Tarek down a narrow maintenance tunnel. Her voice shook as she said, "I found something. I followed the guards after their shift. They carried boxes down this way. Look, they reached a rusted hatch, and through its broken panel, they could see crates stacked against the wall. The markings were strange, earth letters, human words. Tarek traced them with a claw, whispering food, medicine, clothes." His throat tightened. These were supplies for children. Suddenly, a sound echoed, boots striking metal. The two froze, peering through the crack. A guard passed by, muttering to himself, "Why do we keep them alive? What madness is this? Better to end it quickly, before they bring the humans down on us." Kirill's hand clenched tightly on Tarek's arm. Her whisper was sharp. "Did you hear that? They are debating killing them. If that happens, nothing will save us." The guard vanished into the shadows, leaving the words burning in their ears. Tarek felt his chest heavy with dread. "We cannot stay silent. If the humans do not find out soon, it will be too late. They will not just punish the guilty, they will destroy all of us." Kirill's eyes hardened. "Then maybe we must be the ones to act first." "Maybe we should tell them," Tarek recoiled. "Do you know what you are saying? If the commanders discover we betrayed the station, they will kill us before the humans arrive." Kirill leaned close, her voice low but fierce. "And if we say nothing, we will still die when the humans come, at least this way." There is a chance. The silence stretched between them, broken only by the hum of the vents. Both knew she was right, but fear held them like chains. The following day, tension spread across the station like smoke. Guards barked orders with no patience, workers avoided each other's eyes, and strange shipments moved through the night. Tarek overheard two engineers whispering, "They are building stronger locks on the lower gate. Why now? Unless they expect an escape that evening." Tarek returned to his quarters and found a small slip of paper shoved under his door. His claws trembled as he unfolded it. Scrawled in hurried letters was a single line, "They are human children. Do not wait, the humans are coming." He stared at it, his heart pounding. Who had left it? A frightened worker? A hidden ally? Or maybe even someone among the guards who could no longer bear the secret? He clutched the note and rushed to find Kirill. She read it, her face pale. "This means they already know. The humans are on their way." A low alarm suddenly wailed across the sector, red lights flashing against the walls. The announcement followed. "Attention, restricted areas are off limits. Unauthorized entry will be punished by death. Remain in your quarters." But Tarek knew the truth. The humans had been warned. They would arrive soon. He looked at Kirill and whispered, "We are out of time. When the humans come, nothing will stop them." Kirill's voice trembled. "Then we must survive long enough to tell them we tried." that we were not all part of this crime. The station shook faintly, as if answering her words. In the distance, the sound of ships docking echoed through the metal frame. Tarek and Kirel exchanged a look. The storm had begun outside the sealed gate. The faint crying of children grew louder, no longer muffled but rising. As if they somehow sensed salvation near, the guards shouted for silence, banging their weapons against the door, but their voices cracked with fear. Tarek stepped back into the shadows, his mind racing. The humans were coming, and soon the truth hidden behind that door would burn the entire station. Whether he lived or died, he knew one thing with certainty: silence was no longer possible. The station trembled as distant engines roared. It was not the usual sound of cargo ships or patrol craft docking. This sound was deeper, heavier, carrying a weight that made every alien's skin tighten. Tarek stood frozen in the corridor, his claws pressed against the cold wall. Kirel rushed to him, her voice sharp with panic. "They are here! The humans are here!" Every worker in the sector knew it too. Lights flickered as the docking clamps locked into place. The intercom hissed, "Remain calm, this is a routine inspection." But no one believed it. Everyone had heard the same whispers, and now they saw truth arriving in metal and fire. Tarek's chest felt heavy. "This is the end, Kirel. There is no hiding now." Kirel gritted her teeth. "Then we must choose how we meet it. Silent cowards or witnesses who tried to speak." Before he could answer, a rush of soldiers stormed through the passage. They shouted, "Clear the halls, do not interfere. All lower levels are under full lockdown." Their eyes darted nervously toward the docking bays. They were not protecting the workers. They were preparing for something worse. Tarek pulled Kirel aside, hiding in the shadow of a support beam. Together they watched as armored humans stepped onto the station. Their suits were dark, marked with sharp white emblems. Helmets reflected the dim light, giving no view of their faces, yet even without words, their presence filled the air like thunder. One alien commander stepped forward, his voice loud but shaking. "This is Federation property. You have no authority here." A human figure stopped directly in front of him. The silence stretched long. Then a cold voice came through the helmet. "Where are they?" The commander blinked. "Where are who?" The human leaned closer. "The children." The corridor seemed to freeze. No sound came except the faint hiss of air. The commander tried to laugh. "There are no humans here." "You are mistaken." But even his own soldiers flinched at the words. The humans said nothing. They only stared, unmoving. Their silence was worse than rage. Tarek felt his knees weaken. He whispered to Kirel, "They already know. Someone told them. That note." It was true. Kirel's eyes flickered. "Then the gate will not hold for long." As if on cue, the sound of pounding fists echoed from below. Small fists striking metal, faint cries growing louder. The human helmets turned in unison toward the lower sectors. The commander stammered, "You cannot. This area is restricted." The human raised one hand, and his soldiers moved forward without hesitation. Their boots slammed against the floor. The guards at the sealed gate raised their weapons, but their hands shook. "Stand down," barked the commander. But the guards hesitated. They knew what was behind that door, and they knew what it meant. The human stepped closer to the commander. The visor gleamed as he said, "You lied." The commander's face turned pale. "Wait, it was not my order. I did not." A crash cut him off. The sealed gate shuddered as a heavy blast struck it. Sparks flew. The children's cries became clearer. High-pitched and terrified, Tarek's breath caught in his throat. Kirel gripped his arm. "They will tear this station apart, piece by piece." The guards tried to resist. They fired a warning shot, blue energy bolts striking the floor. But the humans did not flinch. Another blast hit the gate, bending its frame. The commander screamed, "Stop them! Stop them now!" But none of his soldiers moved. Some dropped their weapons, others stepped back. Fear drained their courage. They had all heard the legends. To defy humans when their children were in danger was not just foolish, it was suicide. The gate exploded inward. The sound ripped through the sector. Metal screeched. Smoke filled the hall. Through it all, the soft cries turned into desperate wails. And then, from the shadows of the chamber, small figures stumbled forward, thin, frightened. Their faces pale but unmistakably human. Every alien who saw them felt their hearts drop. Some covered their faces, others sank to their knees. The truth was too terrible to deny. It was real. One child clutched the arm of another, whispering, "They hurt us. They kept us in the dark." The words carried. Fragile but sharp, the human soldiers moved instantly, surrounding the children, lifting them into their arms. Their movements careful, but filled with iron control. They did not speak, not yet. The commander collapsed against the wall, his voice trembling. This was not my doing. Please, you must believe me." The leading human finally removed his helmet. His eyes were cold as frozen steel, his voice calm but deadly. "You locked up human children." He paused, letting the words settle like knives. "Do you think Earth cares who signed the order?" Tarak felt the weight of those words deep in his bones. He whispered to Kirill, "It is over. Nothing can stop what comes next." Kirill nodded slowly, tears in her eyes. "We are standing inside a storm." The humans began to lead the children away. Each step was measured, steady, but behind that silence was fire waiting to be unleashed. The entire station held its breath, knowing the truth. There would be no peace. Not now, not ever. Smoke drifted through the shattered gate. The cries of the children still echoed, raw and haunting. The humans stood like dark statues, their armor glowing faintly under the red emergency lights. The children clung to them, trembling. But relief flickered in their eyes as strong hands lifted them from the cold floor. The aliens who witnessed it could not look away. Some whispered prayers, others shook their heads. Fear spread like a sickness. No one could deny the truth anymore. Human children had been locked away on their station. A human soldier knelt beside one of the smaller children. His voice softened. "It's over now. You're safe." The child's lips quivered. "They told us no one would come. They said humans forgot us." The soldier's jaw tightened. "They lied." Tarak and Kirill stood at the edge of the crowd. Their hearts raced. Kirill whispered, "Do you see their faces? They are not shouting, not raging. That silence is worse than war drums." Tarak nodded. "It means the storm has already begun. We just cannot see it yet." Suddenly, the alien commander stumbled forward. His scales were pale, his voice desperate. "Listen to me. This was not my command. I had no choice. I was ordered." The leading human turned toward him. His eyes were sharp, cutting through every word. "Ordered? By who?" The commander hesitated, his throat bobbed. "By the High Council. They wanted leverage. They said it was only temporary. Only to gain advantage in trade." Gasps filled the corridor. The crowd of workers looked horrified. The High Council was their highest authority. If they were behind this crime, it meant the corruption reached deeper than anyone imagined. A child cried louder, the sound breaking the silence. "The human soldiers formed a protective circle," one of them whispered. "They used children as bargaining chips." The leader's voice grew colder. "This is no trade. This is no strategy. This is war." The commander shook his head violently. "No, please, you must understand. I tried to resist," I argued. "They threatened my family." Kirill leaned close to Tarak and murmured, "It doesn't matter what excuse he gives. The humans don't care about politics now. All they see are their children in chains." The commander dropped to his knees. "Please, I beg you, spare me. I will give you names." "I will tell you everything." The human leader stared at him for a long, heavy moment. Then he spoke, each word like stone. "Your words cannot undo what was done." A sharp silence followed. Every alien held their breath, waiting for judgment. Then, without warning, the human leader turned his visor toward the workers who watched. His voice rose. "You saw this. You lived beside it. And you stayed silent." Tarak flinched as the words cut through the air. He wanted to speak, to say he had tried, but his voice locked in his throat. Around him, aliens looked down, ashamed. Some trembled. Knowing there was no defense, the children's voices broke the moment again. "We were cold," one whispered. "They gave us no light. We thought we would die here." Kirill could not stop the tears in her eyes. She whispered, "No one will forgive this. Not even the stars themselves." The humans began leading the children toward the docking bay. Each step echoed with finality. The commander scrambled after them, shouting, "Please, I will help you, I can testify. Just don't leave me to them." A human soldier blocked his path. "Stay back." The commander froze, sweat dripping from his brow. He realized he was already condemned, not by trial, not by jury, but by the simple truth standing in front of him. As the group moved, the station's alarms changed tone. A deep warning blared. Unauthorized fleet detected. Multiple ships approaching. Gasps spread through the corridors. Aliens ran to the viewports. Tarak and Kirill pushed through the crowd to see. Out in the endless dark, shadows moved. Dozens of massive human warships drifted into formation, their silhouettes blocking the stars. Kirill whispered in awe. They didn't just come to rescue. They came to deliver judgment. Tarak's voice was hollow. "And we are standing on the ground where it will fall?" The commander collapsed, covering his face. No, they were not supposed to know. "The council promised." The human leader stepped close, his voice low but sharp enough for all to hear. "You locked away our children. Do you think we wait for permission?" The crowd of workers began to scatter. Some fled toward escape pods. Others dropped to their knees, begging for mercy. The fear of human wrath was older than any law, older than any treaty. Kirill gripped Tarak's hand, her whisper trembling. "We must decide now. Do we run, or do we stay and face them?" Tarak looked at the children. Safe in human arms, he thought of the whispers, the silence, the guilt. He shook his head slowly. "Running will not save us. If humans want truth, we must give it. Maybe then we can live." The humans reached the docking bay. The children were led inside their ship. The leader turned one last time, his eyes sweeping over the station's terrified citizens. His words cut deep. "Your council is guilty. Your silence is guilty. We will not forget." The docking doors sealed. The roar of engines filled the air, and outside, the shadow of the human fleet grew larger, pressing against the hearts of all who watched. Tarak whispered, "This station will not survive the night." Kirill's grip tightened, her voice small. "Then let us be the ones who tell the truth before the fire falls." The red lights pulsed. The alarms screamed, and the entire station trembled beneath the weight of coming judgment. The silence was gone now, replaced by fear, and above it all the stars burned cold. The station groaned under the weight of fear. Outside, the human fleet formed a dark wall across the stars. Their warships stood silent, but every alien watching through the viewports felt the threat in their silence. It was not the kind of silence that came from hesitation. It was the silence before a storm. Tarak stood near the glass. His chest tight, Kirill was beside him. Her eyes wide with dread, she whispered, "They have not fired, not yet." "Do you think they will wait for answers?" Tarak shook his head slowly. "No, they already have their answer. The children were here. That truth is enough." Suddenly, the intercom crackled, the station's high speaker. A nervous voice boomed through the halls. "Citizens, remain calm. We are negotiating with the humans. This incident will be resolved without bloodshed." The words rang hollow. Even the guards standing nearby exchanged uneasy glances. Everyone knew humans did not negotiate when it came to their young. Down in the docking bay, the human soldiers prepared to depart. The rescued children were already inside their ship. Wrapped in blankets, safe at last, the alien commander still trailed behind them. His face pale, he begged, "Please listen. I can prove I was only following orders. Spare me. I can help you." The human leader turned his visor slowly toward him. His voice was quiet but sharp. "Help? You stood by while children cried in the dark." The commander's voice cracked. "I could not resist. They would have killed my family." A long silence stretched. Then the human replied, "Better your family than ours." The words struck like a blade. The commander collapsed, sobbing. No one moved to help him, not even his own soldiers. Kirill gripped Tarak's arm tightly. "Do you hear their voices?" "They are calm, too calm. That is worse than rage." Tarak nodded. "It means the judgment is already written." A sudden tremor ran through the station. Engines outside shifted. The human ships moved closer, filling every viewport with their massive frames. The red alarm screamed again, "Warning!" Outer shields failing. Panic spread. Aliens rushed down corridors, shouting, "They will strike! Run!" Save yourselves, but there was nowhere to run. The escape pods were few, and the humans' fleet circled every exit. The station had become a cage in the council chamber. The highest leaders argued in fear. One voice shouted, "Send a message." "Beg for mercy," another snarled. "Deny everything." They cannot prove the council gave the order, but the proof was already in the arms of the human soldiers. Every frightened child was a witness, and no words could undo their truth. Back in the docking bay, the human leader raised his hand. His soldiers stopped waiting. He turned to the commander once more. "Tell your council this. Earth does not forgive crimes against its children." His voice grew even colder. "We will not stop with this station." Gasps filled the air. The guards dropped their weapons. Some ran, others knelt. The weight of doom pressed on them all. Kirill whispered, "Do you hear? This is not just punishment. This is war." Tarek's chest burned. "And we are the first to fall." Suddenly, a sharp sound echoed. The children inside the ship began crying again. One little voice shouted, "Don't leave us. They will come back." The human soldiers moved quickly to calm them, promising safety. Their eyes burned brighter with every tear. The human leader stepped forward, his visor gleaming under the docking lights. He spoke to the station speakers, his words meant for every ear. "We came here for them, and we found the truth. But know this, our silence is over." The chamber above erupted into chaos. Leaders shouted, "We must hide. We must escape." Others screamed, "Fight them. If we die, we die." But no one believed they could fight humans and survive. The fleet outside began to shift again. Weapons powered with low rumbles, lights glowed across their hulls. Every alien watching felt their knees weaken. Kirill whispered, "Tarak, do you think they will destroy us now?" Tarek's throat was dry. "No, not yet. They want fear to spread first. They want the council to hear the cries of this station before the fire falls." As if to confirm his words, the human ships held their fire, waiting, watching, letting the terror build. It was a punishment of silence, a warning to every world listening. The human leader finally gave a single command. "Depart!" His soldiers obeyed, carrying the children onto their ship. The engines roared, shaking the bay. The massive ship pulled back from the station. Joining the fleet outside, it took position at the center. Every alien watching knew what it meant. The children were safe now, and nothing else mattered. The humans had no more reason to hold back. Kirill closed her eyes, whispering, "This is the last calm moment. After this, there is only fire." Tarak held her hand tightly, both of them staring out at the endless black, waiting for the first strike. The humans had shown their fury not with words, but with silence. And in that silence, every alien heart knew the truth. The judgment was coming. The human fleet hung above the station like a wall of judgment. Their ships were silent, their weapons glowing faintly. The galaxy seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the storm to break. Inside the trembling corridors, fear spread faster than fire. Tarak stood with Kirill near the viewport. His claws dug into the railing. Kirill's voice was small. "They took the children. They saved them. Now what will they do with us?" Tarek's throat was dry. "They will show the galaxy what happens when you harm their young. We are already condemned." The intercom blared again, the high speaker's voice cracking. "Citizens, do not panic. The council is sending messages. We are arranging peace. The humans will listen." They must, but no one believed him. The silence of the fleet spoke louder than any words. In the docking bay, the alien commander still knelt on the floor. His face wet with sweat and tears, he shouted at the empty air where the humans had stood. "Wait, you cannot leave me like this. I can prove my loyalty. I can give you names." His voice echoed back at him. Empty. The humans were gone, taking the children. Leaving only dread behind, Kirill whispered, "They will not fight us with words. They will fight us with memory. Every cry those children made will become a weapon." Tarak nodded, his chest burning, "and no shield in the galaxy can stop it." Suddenly, the station shook violently. Alarms screamed, warning, shields collapsing. "Power failing!" Sparks burst from the ceiling. Aliens screamed and scrambled for safety. Kirill gasped, "Are they attacking?" But Tarak saw the view outside and froze. The humans had not fired. Not yet. The shaking came from the station itself. Failing under its own fear and panic, generators overloaded, systems cracked. It was as if the weight of guilt was breaking the walls. The council chamber erupted in chaos. Leaders shouted over each other, "Send a message, beg for mercy. No, deny everything, blame the guards, seal the exits. They cannot be allowed inside again." But even as they argued, the truth was already out. The entire station knew, and the humans had proof in their arms, far above. When massive human ship moved forward, its hull caught the light of the red star, casting a shadow over the entire station. The comm systems crackled, a cold voice filled every room. "This is Earth Command. You locked up human children. You broke the oldest law. Your silence ends tonight." The words were simple, but they carried the weight of doom. Aliens across the station fell to their knees. Some cried, some prayed, others whispered apologies into the air, as if humans could hear them. The commander screamed, running into the halls, "It was not me! It was not me!" But no one listened. His soldiers turned away from him, refusing even to meet his eyes. Chiral clutched Tarak's arm, her whisper sharp, "This is it, Tarak. They will strike now." Tarak closed his eyes. "Then let it be quick." But the humans did not fire immediately. Instead, their fleet spread into formation, surrounding the station from every angle. The silence was unbearable. It was not hesitation, it was punishment, making every heart break under the weight of waiting. Then the first light flared. A beam of energy cut across the black. It did not strike the station. Instead, it hit one of the Council's warships nearby. The vessel exploded in silence, fire blooming against the void. Gasps tore through the station. Kirill's eyes widened. "They are not striking us first, they are burning the Council." Tarak nodded grimly. "They want to show us who the guilty are. They want every witness to know this is justice, not blind rage." More beams followed. Council ships, one by one, turned to fire and ash. Their escape routes were cut. Their voices on comms filled with desperate pleas. We surrender, but the humans gave no reply. Only silence and fire inside the station. Workers trembled as they watched. Some shouted, "This is justice." Others cried, "We will be next." Kirill leaned close, whispering, "Do you see? They are choosing targets. They are showing restraint. But it is still wrath." Tarak's voice was heavy. "Restraint from humans is worse than rage. It means they will not stop until the lesson is carved into the stars." The commander stumbled back into the bay, watching the council ships die one by one. He screamed, "No, you fools, stop fighting. Beg them." He tried to send a message himself. His voice desperate, "Humans, listen to me. I was only following orders. I can still serve you. I can still be useful." But the humans did not answer. His words fell into the void, unheard and unwanted. Finally, the fleet turned, all guns focused on the station. The lights along their hulls glowed brighter. The air inside the station grew heavy, as if the walls themselves knew what was coming. Kirill whispered through trembling lips, "Tarak." "This is the end." Tarak wrapped his arm around her, whispering back, "No, it is the beginning. The galaxy will never forget this night." Then the voice of Earth Command returned, final and sharp, "Let this be the last time. Harm one human child, and you will answer to all of us." The beams fired. The station shook with the impact. Metal screamed, lights burst, corridors tore apart. The cries of fear rose as fire spread. Tarak held Kirill close, his last thought burning clear. The silence had ended, and the wrath of humanity had fallen.